go toe-to-toe?
Well, let's find out. We've been already hyping up a lot of the champions, a lot of the players, and, well, the Zerath was actually one of the first bans that came through right away for GamersOrigin. They don't even want to deal with it. They did not set anything up here for it, but what will follow will be the Corki and the Jinx. The response will be a ban over to Ronaldo, I have to imagine, with the Akali, Lee Sin, and the Poppy.
They were watching that game. I think it was 2 weeks ago. That was something. So they're just going to go ahead and get rid of that one here. I love the priority on the Jhin. Smiley on this champion. Unreal. Whether it's the curtain calls, whether it's the laning phase, whatever the case may be. So giving him that priority pick, I think, is a big deal. Is that a hover? What is that?
Oh my, you're seeing it.
I'm
seeing it too.
What is it?
Yeah, I don't have to put your glasses on, or,
okay.
you know what I mean? Or you don't have to go and clean them off. I'm seeing that right there.
That's a Kai'Sa for Azza, which, I mean, okay, the thing is, watching Azza play the last couple of weeks, he does seem to struggle on the more traditional hyper carry champions, things like the Jhin, or not the Jhin, things like the Aphelios, things like the Jinx. So maybe putting it on something like this might be a bit of a comfort pick. He's definitely had time on it in the past. The thing that's interesting to me is when you do, the few times I've seen Kai'Sa these last couple of patches, and I can count them on my one hand, it's usually with team comps where it is all in. I'm talking in there like swimwear.
Yeah, they're diving into the back line, and the Kai'Sa can come through and follow up. This would be the very first Kai'Sa, though, of the spring split in the LFL. We've seen a couple of them here and there. We'll see how it ends up doing, but we also get a Volibear, a champion that we don't see a ton of, and I have to imagine this could potentially be going in the top lane. You do technically also kind of have the ability to flex this around here with Kareem as well, based off what you end up seeing from the other side in Solary.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. The thing with Volibear jungle, a lot of early game pressure with the stun. You do have to commit the flash more often than not to get favorable ganks off. That's why I kind of think we'll see that go towards Vizicsacsi in the top lane. First time, it would be the first time for him this split running it, so it would be an interesting thing to play out here. But it does kind of solve the problem we saw from earlier on in the day with GameWard when they drafted the Gwen. You lacked a lot of CC, a lot of dive setup here. This time around, even if you do put the volley in the top lane and you do have the Gwen jungle, and you put Enjoy on something like the Alistar, which he hasn't lost on, by the way, I think that would be a really nice setup.
All of their wins is when he plays Alistar,
yep.
So he has the chance at grabbing it here. It would be great for getting on something like the Kai'Sa, as well as peeling, soaking up damage. But we'll have to see exactly what is going to come through. It looks like it is going to be a Camille, however. We saw it in the last game, found a lot of success, and we'll see it in this game here too.
That's an interesting one, because when we look at Keo, I think as a player for Solary, he's probably been the one who I think has been struggling just a little bit in terms of things like the laning phase. And even though it fits with the composition and how you probably want to be playing around Azza on this Kai'Sa, all this dive, all this follow through, I've only seen this matchup a handful of times at this level of play, but the Camille, I think, ends up losing out more often than not to the Volibear. So that really is Volibear top. I think Keo will struggle a lot in the laning phase, and I think him falling behind is going to be a big problem.
Kind of just have to take in that Thresh just came in with the Aphelios in
wow,
the very
last
couple picks, right?
What?
The last two, yeah. A lot of interesting things happening in this draft, and, well, now we'll see our very last pick that, of course, has been saved for Scarlet. And we'll see what's going to be going into the mid lane, because those are two AD carries I just took in. I was like, wait, they saved their last pick to the end, but is that a graphic bug? Did they accidentally do it?
Yeah, it's got to be a mistake or something. Like I'm sure we'll find out soon, but wow, yeah, that's weird. We'll talk about the Victor for a second, though, just because of the fact that I think partially why we're seeing that LeBlanc ban come through is because we're going to see Scarlet on the Victor, because of the fact that he's going to be very immobile, even as technically, even with that follow-up with the Killer Instinct. If the LeBlanc gets on top of you, you're done.
Harriet's game of the day. And as we jump in,
oh my god, it's real!
It's there! So they bans out the Akali beatdown, and they're like, you know what, next best thing? Give me Jhin. I'll take it.
Oh my god, what is this man's champ pool? He's actually running the Jhin in the mid lane, and wow, I mean... Oh, and it's actually going to be Kareem playing the Volibear in the jungle. Okay, I mean, that's interesting because I don't think Ronaldo is going to win out in terms of wave clear, but that ability, I think, to follow up plays with Deadly Flourish from a screen away might be what they're going for here. Let's say Kareem is going for a play top lane, and Ronaldo's like, hey, look, man, I'm just going to leave lane for like 2 seconds. I'll be right back. And then he just goes and hits the Deadly Flourish. All right, buddy, as promised. Don't worry, Scarlet, I'm here.
Oh, well, this is certainly a new matchup. Can't say I've seen a whole lot of Victor Jin so far in Season 12, but I'm excited to see it. I mean, I certainly am amped to see what Ronaldo has, because he has been a standout mid laner. I mean, he was a huge part of the success that we saw when he played the Akali.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to judge him too hard yet. We'll see how it comes together first beats down, and then we'll take it from there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting too when you think about this bot lane matchup where, honestly, it's not the flex pick I was expecting, but
Yeah.
it was just really, it ends up being really nice that you get this Thresh of Felios at the end there, because you're playing Kai'Sa, Leona. I mean, Thresh of Felios is a really dominant bot lane duo here, so you got to imagine that Aza is going to have some trouble in lane. I mean, the last couple of weeks in the laning phase in general hasn't been the best from the AD carry of Solary. So I think in this, in what I consider an unfavorable matchup, that's also going to be a little brutal.
A lot of emphasis on Kyo in this matchup up against Chachi, who we know there's a lot of people backing him. I'm sure already spamming away in the Twitch chat here for us, as he's got a lot of love. But Skarlet is eating a lot of damage. You mentioned it. He has given up a lot of farm in order to trade effectively like this. So Skarlet might have to look at investing in early TP potentially. But Joko, we know how active he can be, especially on the Xin Zhao. And I feel like you're always worried about it if you're Geo on where the Xin Zhao is going to pop up first.
Yeah, that's going to be the big question. I mean, Kareem will have a similar amount of plays to be made. And, oh, Skarlet.
Still back, just moseys on in with the Zenith Blade, but will be able to take himself out. However, he might regret that
Ronaldo's
because
here.
Kareem's here, Ronaldo's here. This is why they picked the Jhin, I guess, but they don't have a wave. That is certainly going to be a problem, but they're going to set it up anyway. That's already going to be the kill. It's going horribly wrong for GamersOrigin. Ronaldo, you can't go there, and well, everyone just about drops as the execute also came through. What just happened?
Also, I'm so confused. I have so many questions. And it's not even just the Jhin pick, even though it's mostly the Jhin pick. Well, no wave, as you called, and they still end up going for it. Now visit Chachi. Yeah, see you, buddy.
Oh no, the Ignite is down. That's going to be the tower tanked up from Joko. No support here for Chachi in the top lane. And it's going horribly wrong just minutes in right now for the side of GamersOrigin. And I think Kareem is like, I know it's going horribly wrong, so I'm just going to try to full send a gank, maybe bottom again, as it might just be a little shift over to the Crab. Will be able to earn himself a Krabby Patty here for his troubles in the gank.
I like that. This is tough, because the thing with Volibear jungle is that you lose a lot of pressure early on, or you lose it after the early game, just because the point and click CC, that's the big thing you play for here in hoping to set up other members of your team. But it's tough because first gank goes horrifically wrong. And I don't think that's an understatement. And now you kind of see him try and full send another. It doesn't end up panning out. That's time being lost here. Where Joko, on the other hand, successful gank on the top side. Kyo gets his first kill, ends up being really positive here. Now Solary are up 3-0, whereas GamersOrigin, I don't want to say they're in the blender yet, but
Well, now that we see it again, now it feels like they're in the blender again. But
yeah.
Let's see it one more time here as they're like level 2 and 3 setting up the dive.
Yeah, I mean, it ended up being a nice flash from Aza to realizing, like, hey, wait a second, they have no minions, so I have the ability to actually survive this. Outplay it, 2 kills for the Kai'Sa. What is this?
Oh my,
I hate
Ronaldo,
this.
he's not interested in laning. He's just looking at abusing the side lanes, I suppose. And Kyo is going to deal with the pressure quite well. He does miss out on a little bit of experience in gold, but ultimately he plays his life.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the thing, the cost of the roams. You don't have the most amount of wave clear as a Jhin, so playing into Victor, especially early game, even if it's early game where the wave clear isn't that great for Skarlet yet, you're going to end up getting punished for some of these roams, especially when you full commit, not just use that W from the distance, the Deadly Flourish. So, I mean, as time goes on, Ronaldo's going to be less effective with these roams. I feel like he's just going to be an ult bot.
I think you're right. And I mean, the problem here that I'm seeing is the Jhin, is trying to set up plays. We get it. The idea of it is to definitely affect the side lanes. But the problem is that you haven't pulled off a successful play. The first play he did pull off is now an Aza, who we've been kind of highlighting as someone who hasn't been performing too well, has a 2-0 lead, already having a tier and a Dirk there picked up for himself. And, well, Ronaldo, as we panned away, was under fire with the Chaos Storm. But the same thing happening in the top lane. So despite a lot of the early damage coming in here, it is going to be Kyo who has to be on the back foot. And Kareem, I think, might be able to finish off this kill. He is level 4. Is the hook shot going to come up in time? The slow is there with the healing, and the flash is going to have to be committed to make sure they take down Keo.
I mean, ultimately, Keo does end up playing his life just a little bit longer, so it does mean you give more of an opportunity for Vizichachi to spend some time on that turret, pick up plates, take more farm, and that's going to set Keo behind, which I think finally a positive play coming through from GamersOrigin is something you love to see. And now we're getting to a point where Ronaldo is level 6, so has that curtain call available. Scarlet used the ultimate earlier to try and trade, so we'll see if bot lane is something GamersOrigin want to revisit. I would be scared, personally, but all things considered, if we look at how laning is going, Smiley actually has a CS lead and has been doing pretty well overall here, both him and Enjoy. So maybe this is something they can come back once Kareem hits level 6 and can go for the dive.
Yeah, nice flash there from Enjoy to be able to actually just go a little further with the distance and drag Smiley with him so that no wind becomes lightning connects. And now Keo is going to be potentially in another tough spot, pending what Joko does off of his base. Kareem could look for another top play if he wishes, but instead it looks like he's just going to go down to his bot camp, so Keo's going to ward up, make sure that he is safe and sound to be able to push this out, and Joko is going to be going to the top side. So just farming out a little bit here, but Solary definitely still hanging on to a little bit of that gold lead that was collected at the back end of the fumbled dive, and this, of course, all sitting on Azza, where he gets to show us, one of the first times if he can, in fact, carry here in the AD carry role while he's already snowballing.
And overall, everywhere else, I mean, you're looking on GamersOrigin side, a lot of the damage is going to be Smiley on this Aphelios. Vizichachi, who last time he played Gwen, GamersOrigin did lose. I believe it was their first match of the split where it did not pan out. He is trying it again on this top lane pick, and we're going to see if he's also going to be able to do something here. I mean, he has been doing a really good job so far in lane with help from the jungle. So maybe later on, especially in what I wanted to talk about in Draft 2, is how Solary, they have this all in. And if you manage to avoid it, if you manage to save some of your key members, Vizichachi and people like Kareem on this Volibear are going to be able to make a very effective turn, and I think that's what they have to play for.
Joko doing an excellent job playing for a lot of the neutral objectives on the map. Riftfield now in his back pocket. First dragon already collected there about 3 minutes ago, and we'll have now another dragon coming up about 1:50 as he just starts to clear out his top side. And can also get close to Keo in case something ends up breaking out. Death Sentence does connect, and as immediately will flash away. So now no summoner here on the AD carry for Solary.
There it is. You're seeing that 2v2, how strong it is, and how much of an advantage that they have here on the side of Smiley and Enjoy. Do have trades coming through mid, but now Scarlet is out of mana, most likely using that just so he can get a turret played here and walk away. Man, the poke is nuts. He has that E-Evolve, and the damage is good. The thing worth noting now, Kareem, level 6, no flash on Azza means on this next wave, if he stays, he's going to be a dead AD carry.
Yeah, very much so. So Bax coming in, and the response, let's drop the Rift Herald in the mid lane. Let's see if we can get a couple more plates. We know Ronaldo's already low. I mean, very much going to be careful, looks like, in the exchange, but the Rift Field comes down. Gold is going to be gifted over. Engine Wave comes in, might be able to harass and stop the back, but doesn't want to walk up a little too far here. Doesn't know where Steelback is, so everyone's just going to start to take some recalls, but funneling more gold into Scarlet feels like it's always a good plan.
Agreed, a player we keep highlighting, saying how he performs very well, especially on these scaling picks like the Victor, so giving him any gold is definitely a positive now. And Solary, overall, they did pick up the first dragon. We're 30 seconds away from the next one, something they could make a play for if they wanted to, but it is going to be tough. It's all going to be about Scarlet, who's TPing back to lane. They do have an opportunity to go for this fight, but it's tough too. You got to imagine, unless this is seen in scrims, and if it's not, it's just a pocket pick, Solary definitely want to tread carefully just because they're like, what is this pick? Like,
sure.
What are they trying to do here?
I mean, I think they've been baffled multiple times. In the draft, I'm sure they were confused.
Yeah.
Was it a mispick? On the level 2, level 3 dive that came in. So a lot of misplays here so far, but plenty of time to be able to recover the gold lead. Not too big. But the dragon has been started up. Could be the third neutral objective for the side of Solary. Doesn't look like. Gee, we're going to give this a go. No one's really in the area. Instead, they're going to maybe set up a play in the bot lane for this tower. There has been a lot of plates already shaved off of it. Just going to be 2 remaining, but ultimately it will be a second dragon on the board. And now top lane, Kyo forced out in the matchup. Vizichachi flexing his muscles, going in for a little snip, and Kyo will be forced to back.
Yeah, and there it is again. Vizichachi getting the better of Solary's top laner. I mean, to be fair, Gwen is very nightmare fuel-inducing, especially after that first item manages to come through the Riftmaker. But at the moment now, Kareem, I'm not sure if they're aware he is here. And now at this point, there isn't too much you can play for. I like that Joko is hovering, though, just because he's recognizing the dive can come out here onto Azza, but instead, we might just have a fight in the river. It looks like they're just posturing for vision at this point.
Fighting over vision, Kareem moving in, Pink Ward down. Joko, I don't think he's going to let this one go for free if he has an opportunity to move in, but they've spotted him. So now he realizes that I don't have the support. Steelback is in the base. We'll have to give that one up here, but now the blue buff should be handed over, and there has been so much attention. I mean, Kareem has been here for a while. They want to try to pressure this tower continuously, but Joko is nearby with the help of Scarlet, so they're not going to be able to force anything here unless Ronaldo comes down and decides to make a play himself.
Yeah, you got to know, like, Kareem's got to know, like, that the timer is really running out for a champ like Volibear when it comes to the laning phase and how early you can, or how strong of an impact you can have in the earlier parts of the game. So now he's trying to see if he can make the dive. Azza, of course, with the help of his junglers, managed to avoid it.
There's a lantern. Kareem gets out to safety. Deadly Flourish hits the mark, but no follow-up will come on through. Also, the hook goes wide, and Wave can't hit the mark.
No, but that means this mid turret is going to go down, and Scarlet's going to get a lot of that gold. I think it was solo, and it's just more gold into his pocket. All those turret plates means he's going to be scaling very, very nicely here. The thing, too, with GamersOrigin, I mean, on the bright side for them, Smiley has been doing very well. You can see he's got a good CS lead, he's got a lot of turret plates, and you saw that bonus gold he just picked up. This dude is also juiced out of his mind. So when you look at these team fights, actually, that skirmish we just saw was a perfect example. Steelback's going to be looking for him. So if that lantern is ever down, or if he's too far in a place NJWay can't help him, Solary have a really good way to win these fights because you have the dive, you have the follow-up from Azza's Killer Instinct as well. The team fight should, in theory, be good for Solary.
Likely could be the case for us. Scarlet now back out on the map. You take a look at the differential, and well, all that roaming has certainly led to Scarlet coming away with a bit of a lead. And well, off screen, it looks like we missed it, but Ronaldo did go down. And well, that was probably off the back end of Steelback flashing on in there and getting on top of him.
Yeah, it's Scarlet reminding him, hey, listen, buddy, you might be a mid laner, but that's an 80 carry you locked in. Let me remind you what that is like and why you're not in that role. This dude probably popped like a balloon. There it is. Oh, right on the ward. He couldn't be closer. Oh, yeah.
Probably shopping too, you know?
Yeah.
Out, all right, how much gold do I have here? What am I going to come back with?
And your screen goes red.
Yeah, flashing, blinking. Oh, no, what's happening?
Oh, I'm dead. It's over. Damn. Which sucks. I mean, so far, Ronaldo hasn't been able to do much on this pick that no one really could have guessed that we'd see. He hasn't opened up a curtain call either. So these team fights, the 5v5s are what I'm looking towards here. But Solary, who've gotten themselves a really strong lead, I think are really favored in these situations, simply because you have all this follow-up damage coming through, and you have Scarlet. Scarlet is so strong right now, Austin. He has so much gold. He has that Luden's finished, and you saw what he could do to the likes of Ronaldo. Well, there's another 80 carry in the game who's equally as squishy.
Very much so. As Vizichachi going to start to get some work done on the side lane, someone will have to respond. Azza is here, has the exhaust. Steelback's coming in, but I don't think you want to take that fight and probably don't want to give up the wave to do so. So more or less just cover. Top lane, that's a nice hook. It is Camille, though. Keel is fairly slippery. He's going to jump right on top of Smiley, but he can't slip away in time. Nice hook and a big kill now for Smiley comes through.
All right, Smiley, I see you. Really nicely played by GamersOrigin's bot lane, and it just feels like this handshake, this trade of, all right, Smiley gets kills, and then Scarlet will get kills. And okay, we'll let you get your 80 carry fed. We're gonna get our mid laner fed, and it's may the best carry win. That seems to be the game these two are playing towards here. And Ronaldo's just kind of here in this conversation. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's still hasn't locked in his first item. I mean, he's down quite a bit of CS to Scarlet, who's got 172. So down about a full 30 CS here or so, a little bit more after that wave ends up getting picked up. And now this could be sole point, pending this Infernal Dragon does end up coming through. I don't think anyone's in a position to be able to steal it, unless Ronaldo just opened up with the curtains or something like this, but that's not going to happen. Smite comes down. Joko getting his team Dragon number 3.
Yeah, that's kind of what happens. You lose a lot of pressure in the mid lane because you are really lacking in wave clear, especially when Smiley is on that top side of the map. So it means it's going to be easy to pick up these objectives for the side of Solary. And what does that mean? You called it. Soul Point. This is the Infernal Soul. This burst damage that is going to be added to what Solary already have is going to be very potent. And it's going to goes to show how important Smiley's life is going to be in these team fights, and as well as Vizichachi. I think there is a lot of carry potential there on this Gwen. The steel caps are going to be really nice just because you have so many auto attackers besides Scarlet. So I think if you get on top of someone like Aza, Joko, Kyo, whatever, Vizichachi can do big things.
It could be the case. TP's coming down, and Jawave has gone golden, but he's isolated, and Scarlet will take down the first kill. Curtain Call also came out. Will there be a re-engage? Vizichachi wants to get in there. Will be able to find Steel back. He's now isolated and left alone. Both supports will fall, and Geo are still 4 as they can look to collapse or back up to mid.
Right, and it's just going to be Keo staying mid, pushing this turret in here. You end up going 1-for-1, and yeah, it looks like it's as you say. They want to try set up more vision on this bottom side of the map, and why wouldn't they? This Dragon Soul coming up for a Solary in 4 minutes is something they can't let happen. So they're keeping this bot lane push. They're keeping as much pressure and vision on this bottom side of the jungle as they can, and they're just going to hope that they manage to hold on to it with a vice grip for the next 3.5 minutes here. Otherwise, Solary, that Dragon Soul will be the game.
A little too much damage to deal with, and
yeah,
there's really anyone at a point where they can absorb it. Ronaldo getting shrugged off, and this is all it's going to be now. Scarlet gets to walk up to you, gets to throw the laser. If you want to trade with him, he's able to pull the shield off with the Q.
Yep.
And he walks away, always out-trading you, and you're forced to catch the wave. So that gives him the first move, and plus he still has the safety of his tower here. So going to be very flexible throughout the mid lane. On top of that, Steelback has actually been sending a lot of attention to Scarlet this time around on the Victor. But Smiley is now put back up into the top lane. I feel like this is going to be the saving grace here for the side of Geo beatdown. Smiley has been farming extremely well. He has that first item. He's got to be close to the second. You're definitely relying on him to see if he's going to be able to have some of those big Aphelios moments here in the game.
I mean, so far we haven't seen too much so far except that kill onto Kyo in the top lane and that skirmish bottom side. But in the 5v5, nothing yet from Smiley. And we need to see it here if you're a GamersOrigin fan, just so that you can hope that that damage, all that attention is going to be worth something here. And Joko drops the Herald. He probably never got an opportunity to use it here, so we're going to see. There's that top tier 1 turret. It is going to be Aza escorting it to that top side of the map, so it might get something.
Everyone coming up, but this ward will catch Joko, so they're going to know that the side of Solary is looking to position into the top side of the map here. Smiley here with Kareem. Joko, will he try to look for an angle in? When becomes lightning, just falls short, and now it's the Rift Herald that's going to be under fire. Vizichachi also now here at the front line. Enjue fishing for a hook as the curtain call's been able to slow up Joko. Steelback eating up the damage at the front of the line. And now with TP coming in. Steelback goes back through, flashes the way to safety. Kyo in the mix. Will we get a re-engage? Looking like no. Everyone will simply back down.
That ends up being a pretty positive fight there. You force Kyo to TP, and you still force them away. It's not quite enough time for you to try and make a Baron play, but it still ends up being very positive. You see an example of how much damage Smiley is able to output, and that's what we were looking for, what we were talking about just a minute ago. So still, you probably want to kill, but ultimately, you're still in a good spot, or in an okay spot, if you're GamersOrigin. I would say good. But ultimately, the thing to worry about now, if you're a GamersOrigin fan, is I think Scarlet. He just finished the Lich Bane. Remember, 12-2. This item is noticeably stronger now. So Scarlet's damage is going to be pretty insane, especially when you get that Q auto off. So, GamersOrigin, they have to watch for that when this Dragon Soul fight comes up, because Austin, that timer is ticking down, and that's the win con here for Solary. This is how they close it out.
This is how they close it out, and it's only 500-600 gold differential. Joko getting hooked up, but he has all of his teammates behind him for any assistance needed. So Enjawave not going to follow up on that death sentence. But control in the river around the mid lane. Looking good right now for Solary, as both teams going to start to eye each other up and fight over this next wave.
And this is what it's going to be all about. Look at Kyo. He's trying to see if he can get on top of Ronaldo, get on top of Smiley. That backline access is what is so big about a champ like Camille. So with this vision that they have, he's going to have to look for the angle here. You can see it, Smiley is very well protected. This is the fight for Solary Soul.
Can they go big? Can Kareem smite this down from Joko? Kareem's in the pit. Could look for the ultimate to come through. Bit of a slow there. Joko at the front of it. Will eat to Deadly Flourish. 5K on that Dragon, but Steelback, he's going all the way around. The curtains are going to open up. That's the Solar Flare. It stops it, and now the Dragon, who's going to be able to get it? It resets. Azza able to take down the jungler, which means that Solary will be able to secure the Dragon. They have the soul. They have the damage. Geo are falling to pieces. A flash comes out there from Ronaldo, but it's a double for Azza. It is a triple coming through for Az as he takes down Enjawave as well. And now the Baron. That's what Solary have their eyes locked on.
And there it is, Austin. The crowd is cheering. The Solary fans are excited. Why wouldn't they be? The support and jungle combo that we keep talking about. Man, it's just to go big and in such an important fight, and I hope we get a replay just to see how that one really took place. But ultimately, you have the Dragon Soul now if you're Solary. You are getting the Baron buff, all this turret gold, and you have the keys to drive yourself to a win here. It's just about this next fight.
Well, that's going to blow the gold lead here out a little bit more than 700, that's for sure, as we'll take another look on the fight.
All right, look at Steelback. He cancels the curtain call with the Solar Flare, which is a big deal. Look at Joko, the way he moves in and manages to allow... Actually, it was Keo who ulted with that Hextech ultimatum, splitting the jungler away, making sure Kareem isn't close enough to go for the smite, and by that point, he just loses his life in the process here. So making sure that it was... That's my favorite kind of 50-50, Austin, where you make it where it's not really one.
That's right. No 50-50 if you can't get in smite range.
That's right.
And the Dragon resetting there was the chaos of it all.
Yeah.
And that's always what feels bad as the jungler, where you're like, I just got to get the smite down. You're tunneling so hard on the health, and then it's like, nope. I'm going right back into the pit. I'm going to start regenerating some health. So that means that the soul is here. Solary's so good at getting the souls. There's quite a few games where they get it.
Oh, wow.
And now Vishishachi feeling the damage of the soul as he loses out in the trade. Keo is starting to scale up a little bit, has a couple items in his pocket, and can split push if he wants. The wave's not going to be with him, but meanwhile his teammate's getting a lot done here in this red quadrant.
Right, and at this point, it's just because you're trying to take what remaining outer turrets are left, use this Baron buff to its maximum so you can continue to advance your gold lead. You know, GamersOrigin, they have to respect it. They have to back off, do their best to clear some waves. Joko's like, you hooked me, but that one wind becomes lightning. That was some damage.
I mean, Enjawave is also level 8. He is extremely underleveled when you compare him to Steelback, who's level 10. So yeah, he goes in with a death sentence. He is likely dying, so hopefully it's a good hook, and hopefully they find the kill on the hook. But Keo has now found a tower here on the top side. Tower number 4 will be locked up and will be secured as we take a look at the damage charts coming in right now. Almost 14K for Scarlet in the mid lane on the Victor. Level 15, 3-0-3, even buying the Magi's here beat down. So the damage is good, but how about a curtain call coming in? Kareem goes golden, so does Scarlet, and they can't find him. It's a blast cone over the wall!
No!
They take him back. It's the trap card. And now Solary have found a couple of picks.
Oh, man, it looked so good for a second for GamersOrigin. They knew they had to force something, but the play wasn't theirs to make as Joko knocks him back into his team. 2 members down means all they need is just a little more to be able to finish this game off. They have a wave coming topside. Austin Scarlet is back in, but he has TP.
5 seconds on Enjawave as with the killer instinct will be able to force out the flash, but now eats a lot of damage in return and will be punished on the aggressive play in the mid lane. So now Solary without their 80 carry, they're calling to retreat. So that means with that play there from Azza, they don't actually get to successfully find an inhibitor in the base.
Yeah, unfortunate. He did have flash available, but decides not to blow it just because realistically, the damage is done. It's not as big a deal. It is not great that you give Smiley, of all people, the shutdown, but you got so much gold since that Elder, or rather the Soul fight here. And I'm glad we get a replay of this. You have to see how that one goes. Look at the blast cone too. It's by Ronaldo. It was actually down. It respawns in time for this play to be made. It's after the stasis comes through. There it is, it respawns, and Joko says, hey, why don't you come over here, buddy? Let's chat.
Oh, man, that's tough. And right into the laser, right into the rest of the team as well, right? That one certainly stings. And one of those moments where the blast cone spawns at the perfect time in order to trap Geo there right back into the jungle. So, a couple kills going over. Solary now building this gold lead up further and further as we'll see exactly what happens down here in the bot side. Scarlet, I think, knows something is up, and now he's going to say hello, but there's a lot of members here. Steelback's behind him. Scarlet is going to go golden, but he does not have flash. Here comes the rest of the team. Azza into the mix, but it's going to be 1-for-1. Kareem is low on the side. Smiley has been under pressure. Joko, can he find the back line? Enjaway will end up dropping. Joko gets help from his AD carry, who finds the snipe with the Void Seeker, and that is the ace at 26 minutes, and now Solary, they can look for the base.
Oh my god, Scarlet runs up into the face of a Gwen, Austin, and just looks to see if he can make the play happen. And it ultimately cost him his life, giving away a big shutdown, but you set up Solary for an excellent fight, and now, like you said, they're taking the base. They probably can't look for the end, but they're going to push a pretty decent set of waves here through mid and top. And now, of course, with Elder in 30 seconds, losing mid or top inhib and bot inhib is less than ideal.
It's actually the perfect inhibitors you'd ever want to take besides the mid lane, because it's easiest to push out the mid lane and then go over to the Elder and fight it. So this is a good position, and now we'll take another look at Scarlet really setting up this entire fight, which looked bad at the start, but his teammates got here in time.
I mean, to be fair, he's 2 levels on Vizichachi too. Used the Q stacks already, so he's like, oh, come over here, I can do this 1v1. The problem is, 3 other people show up, Austin, so he manages to go stasis and take all of Kareem's time, and what that means is, I mean, Azza is fairly strong. Keo is out of his mind at the moment, and it's enough to buy time for that damage to come through. I mean, look at that.
That Infernal Soul, oh, does it ever add additional damage? Does it ever? And now the Elder. We'll take a nice look at it here in the pit, where you're looking at maybe a big play from Kareem to get in there, see if he can steal it away, give his team a fighting chance. Smiley is on 3 items. If he can dish out the damage here, Beatdown, they could have a chance, but getting through this front line, that is going to be the trickiest part.
Oh my god.
And now you have to try to escape. TP's going to come through. Enjawave sets at the hook. Keo going to eat some damage. Red and white for Smiley, though. He does have good guns for the fight, and he takes down Keo. Top laner, no longer here for Solary. And now in from behind, Scarlet's going to force off the curtain call as they turn attention onto Vizichachi from the front line. Joko is low. Solar Flare is going to be able to hit a couple of members. Steelback, though, is completely isolated, and that means that Vizichachi takes down the kill. 2 members dropping. That could be the Elder on the side of GamersOrigin.
Oh, it's tough. It's going to be a 3 versus 5, or rather 3 versus 5. Yeah, no, it is. No one died from the side of GamersOrigin. Insane pickoff set up by Enjaway for his 80 carry to be able to pick up yet another shutdown. Joko's here. He's trying to play for it, and Azza...
They got a 50-50. Scarlet with so much damage is taking down Enjawave, and now it's a smite. Oh, it's stolen from Kareem, taking it down, but Joko still finds the kill. That will be the Elder Dragon that finds Scarlet, but Azza says hello, takes the killer instinct, and will be able to strike for another.
And there it is. Only 2 people are going to have the Elder buff. So technically, GamersOrigin still could make use of it, but ultimately, the damage from Scarlet, the lack of reservation. When he finds the opening, he just full sends and goes for it. And what does that mean? You don't quite get the Elder, but you will get yourselves the Baron and Solary. Once again, are set up in this position where 1 fight and it's good night.
Well, no contest. You have to clear out the minions. Just a little bit more gold in your pockets before we start setting up this final fight. But there it is. Joko will be able to take it down. Doesn't even want to invest the smite to do it, but he's going to wait actually for his teammates. Waiting for Scarlet. Make sure he has the Baron buff too. And there it is. Now we'll be able to secure it here for the squad. All 5 members having it, and we'll take one more look at the start of this fight.
And there it is. The Kareem is on his way. The TPs are coming through as well. So Enjawave is like, all right, we got to start. I got to start CCing. I got to set up Smiley, who with the Gale Force gets an excellent shutdown here. And I think that's the big thing that opens it up. Keo, a big source of backline damage, no longer in the fight, means that realistically, you have the numbers, you have the red and white guns for Smiley. So of course you're going to be able to come out on top in this one, get those 2 picks. The thing that changed it all is what happens after, Austin. Take a look at Scarlet. Everybody, the damage that he ends up putting out in just a second. He didn't have the flash, but you could see it. The E damage coming through. Oh my god, 1 proc from the Chaos Storm was enough to to take out the Leona.
Whoa, looks like we go back to live. There is a bit of a fight. There's the curtain call. Into the back line is Keo trying to zone them away, but they've already been able to take out two. Vijachachi down. Kareem is down. Engine Wave has the flash. Ronaldo goes rogue and goes all in. And now he drops it. It's all up to Smiley. Smiley versus the world. Still 5 members strong. Nothing you can do. And Solary will keep the win streak alive. 3 straight wins going into day 1 of week 4.
And